Hello and welcome to the BS Podcast, where we talk the absurd, the ridiculous, and yes, the bullshit. Are you guys ready to deal with some real high-level bullshit? We've got 5 stories. We're counting down this week.
So much bullshit. I can't wait to get right into it.
I just want to know, if everyone's as fired up as I am. We've got 5 great stories.
Not only is it the 2020 year 2020, but it's also the holidays. There's always a lot of bullshit around the holidays. So,
of course, that is Zach, and I am Dave. And as we do each and every week, we scour the internet for the stupidest shit out there.
To put it lightly,
down to 5, and then we rank them as we go through each one of them. So we are counting down the top 5 bullshittiest stories of the week. Zach, before we get into that, I want to know, one, we talked about your COVID situation last week. Now, would you say your quick thing is, are you 100% now?
I wouldn't say 100%.
Jesus.
I'd say at 90, 95. And I think I'll probably be that way for, the foreseeable future.
The rest of my life.
They've said that, some of that feeling in your lungs and, I wouldn't say I've had shortness of breath, but when I wake up in the morning, and you wake up in the morning, you're sluggish, you're kind of like out of breath a little bit. Like when I breathe in, I get that feeling back in my lungs and I'm like, fuck, is this coming back? Like what's going on again? And then it kind of goes away, after I get up and get moving, but it's a little scary at first.
Wow. So still recovering then.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, I think that definitely where I was going next was any personal BS you're dealing with. That definitely counts as personal BS. You got anything else?
We're going through my wife and I are going through a refinance on our home right now, which has just been a pain in the ass. So much shit goes into it. And that's just been taking up all of our time lately and energy. And, our mortgage lender, who's a really good guy and he does a good job, but, he looked at our house and said, this is what I think your house can get appraised for. And this is what I'm putting into the estimate for the loan for the refinance. Right. And we had a great rate and, the private mortgage insurance we had would be eliminated. And I'm like, fuck yeah, we're going to be saving so much money a month. And, he was talking to me it's all up to the appraisal kind of thing. And it's up to you to kind of tell her what we want, what we need. And the appraiser came last week, which was already a pain in the ass trying to get the house ready to be appraised and shit, And she just flat out says I can't give you that on an appraisal, without even looking at the house. She said this on the phone. I'm like, are you kidding me? Come on.
You got to come look at it at least.
Yeah. So, it's just been, it's just been a pain in the ass.
Oh man, that sounds like a nightmare. I don't really have anything other than I got this weird thing. My ear's been itching for the last day. That's about all I got. So I did a Q-tip once and now I'm trying to leave it alone. I don't know.
You gotta get some ear hair trimmers.
Yeah. There's a spider in there. Making a web. So I think your BS is higher than mine if we were ranking.
I remember when I was little, I saw this fact that was you eat 8 spiders a year in your sleep. And I'm like, oh God. And I remember I was terrified for months after I read that.
Good. Mommy, if I sleep with my mouth open, will a spider crawl inside?
It was probably some stupid MySpace share thing or whatever, the social media was back then. That was you eat 8 spiders in your life, share this and it will never happen to you again, or else, if you don't, remember the old email. Now it's Facebook shares, but it used to be emails. You get this random email that was email cursed. This to 10 more people or you're, cursed for life. And then a picture of a ghost will pop up and she'll visit you and kill you in your sleep or whatever.
Yeah. There's a witch doctor currently monitoring the situation. Yep. If you don't forward this email right away.
Fucking terrifying. You know what I mean? You're a little tiny kid. You don't know how email works. You know what I mean? You're just log on one day and you see that shit. And
I'd like to have met sweet innocent Zach back in the day.
Not so innocent, not so sweet either.
Excellent. But yes, if we were scoring my itchy ear versus your refinance woes, I think yours would get the higher score. All right, so let's get into our stories. You ready, Zach?
I'm ready.
This one comes from the New York Post. Target's kinky Christmas cookies have more moms boycotting and giggling. We have a story here. This comes from Target, a $3.99 cookie, Zach. And let's take a look at what this thing looks like and why people were blushing, so to speak. So you got Santa cookie, middle of Santa, and what does this resemble, Zach? Does this look like a pair of something into something?
I wish it was upside down, like if the cookies got messed up in the packaging, so then it would really look that way. You'd have the the base of it right up where it should be.
Now, let's say though, Santa here is white and the stuff is black. So, sorry, did we miss something there? Or?
You know, Santa comes in all different shapes, sizes, and colors.
Maybe that's the secret.
Yeah.
That's the real spirit of Christmas.
Santa's dick. Oh, God.
Well,
I didn't know it was supposed to be boots. I mean, you look at this first glance, you're like, what? And then someone says it's supposed to be his boots. And then you can kind of be like, okay, it just looks like, you know, you can see the little fur and the buckles or whatever. But
yeah, power of suggestion here, right?
First glance, it is a very phallic. Those are very phallic cookies.
It's got, and actually well, I would just say if someone told you they were boots, you see boots. If someone says it's a dick and balls, you're going to say dick and balls.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Now these sell at Target, and interesting thing, I said the jewelry maker, I guess the vendor says I think it might have been a disgruntled employee sabotage, but I'm not sure about that. I think
no way. How would that be like a mass-produced product? That doesn't make any sense.
Now, see, here's an interesting thing. Now, it just now here's a better one. This one. Now I think I could see it. So let's go back to this. Those look like boots to me.
Yeah.
This, I think it's the length of the.
Yeah. And I think the line, I guess there's like a line in the middle that's supposed to like separate the boots that is supposed to be there for like where the boots touch, but it almost just looks like a giant vein.
Yeah, I'm giggling. Cool girl.
I really wish the cookie was upside down though. That would be best.
Yes. Now here's the thing though. These sell at Target, as I mentioned. So it was the first time hearing about the crude cookies. We have not received any negative feedback directly on this item, a rep said. The design is intended to represent Santa's boots. We appreciate the feedback. We'll take it into consideration moving forward. Now, which brings up the question, is all of this just stupid shit and in the story itself bullshit because maybe nobody even noticed. Maybe everyone saw boots.
Oh, yeah.
And me and you are the problem. And this is a bunch of.
I don't know. This poor mom, like she buys these cookies. Like, I don't know. In the article, there was a quote from her, the woman that started all this that posted that in the moms group. She was like, oh, look at these. I bought them for a good little cheap treat to have on hand for holiday parties or school events or something like that. And then everyone started commenting saying like, what is Santa's dick doing on those cookies? She was probably so like, it's just thinking it's a nice little innocent Christmas cookie. And then now it's like shattered. I don't know if you saw the episode of How I Met Your Mother where like they were pointing out each other's differences.
Yes.
It was like the glass shattered as soon as they found out. And that's all I can tell now. That's like what this is. But like, I mean, kids start like drawing cartoon dicks at like such an early age. I mean, like think about the movie Superbad where little baby Seth was like that whole like dick drawing scene. Like, it's not that big of a deal. It's supposed to be boots.
Oh yeah. It's true. I mean, it is. Actually, I'm just watching a Netflix show called Beer Brothers, I believe, and it's not very good, but
no, okay.
It's about two brothers working in a brewery. It's sort of just very light, stupid comedy. But anyways, inevitably they had to draw male genitals on a chalkboard because that's just what everybody does.
Oh yeah.
And so here we are with this story. It's questioning, I think it does resemble. Now, I think there's a clear distinction between the second one and this first one. So one does look like boots and the other looks suspiciously So maybe there was some odd ones here and there, and maybe somebody.
Oh yeah, there's definitely some odd ones. I mean, I don't know. Have you ever? Okay, do you remember like the ice cream truck man that would pull up in the summertime? I don't know. You grew up in Connecticut, so maybe you. I don't know if they had this up there, but like, you know, like you go up to the ice cream truck and there's like pictures and like a SpongeBob ice cream, and like the picture of it looks exactly like fucking SpongeBob, right? I mean, uncanny. And so you buy that, you open it up, and it's like just a melted blob of ice cream, like gumballs in there for eyes, and it looks nothing like what the picture did, just because of like packaging and like, you know, production errors and shit. It's never gonna be 100%. And in this case, instead of it just looking like a melted blob, it ended up, instead of boots, looking like a pecker.
great spot on analysis there. And poor Zach, you know, I can imagine it. I just keep imagining you as I keep going back to little Zach, you know, getting disappointed for the SpongeBob ice cream.
I ate it so quick, it didn't matter anyway. I don't know.
All right, well, that's all. That's all I had on this.
This is a great story to open up the show, Dave.
All right, do you want me to go first with the rating?
Yeah,
I'm gonna give this thing a 7. What do you got?
I got 3.
Okay. Well, we're going a little different the last couple of weeks, so that's good. I mean, but part of the bullshit for me is everyone sees dicks everywhere where they're not. All right. Story number 2. I think this one is hilarious. Scene from the Elf movie comes alive as Buddy meets Dad in Boston. Look at this. This is the scene here. A long-lost father-son reunion. This is just like the real-life movie. The story of Buddy the Elf meeting his biological father has come to life just in time for the holidays. Doug Henning wore a costume like that of actor Will Ferrell's character wore in Elf while meeting his father face-to-face for the first time last week at Boston's Logan Airport. He even broke into the same awkward song from the 2003 movie. Sample lyrics. I'm here with my dad, and we never met.
But you didn't know I was bored.
When he came out of the airport, he probably thought I was a lunatic. Hennig 43 out of Elliot Main told Boston.com. It was really a great way to break the ice. But here's the thing. His father didn't get the joke because he hadn't seen the movie, which is about a man raised in the North Pole who meets his dad for the first time, but it didn't stop him from giving his son a hug. So imagine. So first of all, this is funny. This is hilarious that this guy did that. But even worse, I mean, imagine the hilarity for me, Zach, is the father's perspective.
Oh yeah, if he would have saw the movie, it would have been like no. He would have had no doubt like what he was doing, but because he didn't see the movie, like, you know, this is a nice heartwarming story, but this could have gone really bad, like really quick because his dad didn't see the movie. It could have been one of those situations where it's like, oh, hey dad, it's you. And he's just like, he just looks at him and he's just like, no, that you got me mistaken. No, dad, it's you. It's like, we talked on Zoom the other day. It's like, no, you got the wrong person, you know? And he just like keeps walking away. Like,
that was like the episode of The Office where Michael gets set up with Pam's landlady, and she's like, "Are you Michael Scott?" He's like, "Yes." Michael what?
Yeah. That's a good one.
This guy, you know, this meeting is a stranger son showing up looking like God knows what, singing this horrible, awkward song, and you're like, God, this is why I left you, kid.
Yeah. Oh. He's like, God, you're really into elves, aren't you? And he's like, that's from the movie Elf. Like, I never seen it. Oh, well. I guess the first thing they did as a father-son is they went and watched the movie Elf together.
Yeah. Well, he should have sent him the movie ahead of time or something.
I think the bullshit is who hasn't seen that movie?
Yeah. Yeah. Good point. Well, a man who leaves his child, I guess that's what.
Unless you're like adamantly against Christmas, you know, like if you're a, I don't know, if you're like a hardcore, maybe I wouldn't say atheist because atheists can still celebrate secular Christmas. I don't know if you're like a hardcore religious and you only celebrate like the religion aspect of it, maybe, and you like, you know,
well, maybe you just hate Will Ferrell.
Boycott, or yeah. Although, how many people hate Will Ferrell?
Not very many.
That's a yeah.
So he interesting. He found his dad. He found him through Ancestry.com. He was adopted, and then he kind of was able to find cousins and all that, genetic relatives, and actually find his dad. And they look, despite the son being a bit taller, they look very almost identical.
That's crazy. They found Ancestry.com. Have you ever like signed up for an Ancestry.com account or anything like that?
I have a 23andMe thing.
I need to do that one instead. I'm not too big of a fan of Ancestry. I did the Ancestry like DNA test, and it like included like a free month to like Ancestry.com.
Okay.
Basically, I think the only thing I did was like I didn't discover any new relatives. I saw some really cool like old pictures of my grandfather when he was younger, but that was about it.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, 23andMe has
like, yeah, like I think like it was like, oh, this guy is your uncle, and it was like my grandfather's brother who was like on that site, like uploading pictures and stuff like that.
That's awesome.
So like I was like, oh, look, there's my grandfather when he was like a little kid playing baseball back in like the 1930s or whatever.
Oh, that's real cool. I haven't seen anything like that, though I haven't spent much time on it. I really liked getting my DNA.
See, yeah, I wasn't. That's the other thing. I wasn't really that into like what Ancestry.com said. It like basically said everything I already knew. It basically, honestly, like Ancestry.com said you're white. It's pretty much what it said with my DNA.
I look in the mirror every day. I know that.
You're from Europe, in England and like Germany. Like, okay, that makes 100% sense. Like, where else would I, be from? Like, give me specifics.
So no detailed breakdown.
No.
Did you get a health thing? Because mine came with a health thing.
Yeah, Ancestry.com doesn't do that. It's just that's 20. See, that's why I want to do 23andMe too. I heard they're a little bit more detailed.
Yeah, I found the health stuff pretty interesting, and actually one thing I thought was interesting too was it came up with it also measures your level of Neanderthal DNA. Mine's like 3.5% or something like that.
That's interesting. Which
I think I said it was like higher than 90% of all 23andMe participants. So that's why I got the sloped forehead, and I walk and I grunt a lot.
Is that how you met your wife? Did you like club her on the head with a club, and then it's like she's mine now? Is that?
I dragged her back into my bear cave.
Yeah.
But
life was simpler, Dave.
I know, right? This is why I'm always complaining about the modern world. I want to go back to Neanderthal times. All right, buddy. Let's move on here. What do you got for rating on the elf story?
Just I'm going low on this one. It's a nice, heartwarming story to lift our spirits. I'm going to go 2.
I got a 4. Yeah, I'm with you. It's not very high. I just thought it was a funny story.
Basically.
Yeah. Because I really wanted to laugh at the son for what I think was really more a spectacle for taking a picture than for actually reuniting with his father.
That's a good way of looking at it, Dave.
Yeah.
I didn't look at it that way.
Well, that's why I'm here. All right, let's go to story number 3. Man uses sword. We're talking bullshit. This is bullshit. Man uses sword to slice 68 grapes while standing on balance board for Guinness World Record. Let's just get to this asshole right now.
This record is for the most grapes sliced in 1 minute with a samurai sword while balanced upon a balance board. However, as Mr. Hand has left,
this is not entertaining.
For the most grapes sliced in 1 minute while standing on a balance board. Record 61.
What the fuck?
The record is 61. So someone's already done this.
Yeah, this is for the Guinness record. I mean,
look at that technique? Dave, you might as well accomplish something while you're sitting in quarantine while we're all locked down. I think it's a little technique. He's just doing like this. Also, that has to be a really sharp sword.
Yeah. Some sort of a...
You know what would make this video more entertaining if the sword like slipped out of his hand and like stabbed the guy throwing the grapes.
I was just thinking that you could fling that thing, and impale him. That would make this video a lot more entertaining.
Yeah,
I agree. I mean,
and then there would be a Guinness World Record for like the craziest way man stabbed by samurai sword or something like that.
Yeah, while attempting to break a Guinness World Record. I mean,
good thing he didn't like fall on that balance board and like accidentally stab himself.
I think you're onto something here. The inherent danger in all this for something so dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. He slips, falls, impales himself.
I don't know. I want to know how people think of this. Like people do some crazy shit chasing, Guinness World Records.
Yeah, like why?
Like what made this guy think like, you know what? I'm going to try to cut 68 grapes by sitting on a balance board. Or did he just like look through the Guinness Book of World Records and like wait to find something he thought he can beat?
That's what I suspect. It's the second one.
And of all things in that record, why would you pick that? I guess maybe he's like, I'm good at cutting things and I'm good at standing on a balance board.
Well, he's like, well, I'm a nerd who bought a katana some years ago at a and like you said, I'm here at quarantine, so I might as well just fuck around. I don't know. I think this is dumb. I think the whole Guinness Book of World Records.
Oh yeah,
is
yeah. When I read this article, it got me thinking. I looked up some of the weirdest ones. I've got 4 of them. You ready? Let's see. We got most apples held in your own mouth and cut by a chainsaw. So a guy put 2 apples in his mouth and someone cut them in half with the chainsaw. That's one of them.
Oh my God.
Longest distance keeping a table lifted with teeth. So a guy bit down on a table and like lifted it in the air with his mouth. That's a one. Longest metal coil passed through the nose and out the mouth. So I don't know what that was. It was just like he had a piece of metal that went in his nose, out his mouth, and pulled it. And then the last one I found that was weird was the most canned drinks opened by a parrot in 1 minute. So I guess they just trained their parrot to open up cans of soda and put a bunch in front of him and just let him open up cans. So who gets the award in that? Does the owner get the award or does the parrot get the award?
Yeah, that would be, well, I don't know.
Record.
If the parrot has an animal rights lawyer or something.
He's like a Hollywood parrot. He's like a Hollywood animal, right? Where he has like an agent and stuff.
Oh, this is ridiculous. So this says, and I think you were asking now, this man, David Rush, he had previously set the record at 57. But so this
isn't the first time. So he's the one that did this, and then someone chased it and beat him, and then he's going back.
Well, I don't know if he was the first one to do this or if he broke a record himself, but yeah, I mean, so a real battle here for testing the limits of human ability.
Yeah. It's crazy. It doesn't necessarily bother me, but I just don't understand. Like people will go to so many lengths to try to like chase fame or glory or like leave behind a legacy. You know what I mean? But it's just people will do some crazy shit.
It's the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. What is this? Why does anyone care for any reason? There's no look. Fame and clout. Well, I guess he's on YouTube and we watched him, but
yeah, I
mean, is that the extent of his fame and accomplishment? Because does anyone in the world care that he sliced 68 grapes with a sword? Well,
we're talking about it, so
I mean, it's one thing if like the fastest mile, right? Or the biggest jump or something like that. That's the biggest
dick drawn onto top of a Santa Claus cookie. As we talked about at the beginning of the show.
Oh, wow. Do you have anything else on this?
No, I don't.
I think this is very high level bullshit because it's so stupid.
Yeah.
And so I'm gonna give this thing an 8. What do you got?
I got a 6.
Okay. All right, Zach, let's move on to our 4th story. China has done human testing to create biologically enhanced super soldiers, Zach, according to a top U.S. official. This is, not only BS to start, but potentially very scary. We got here, U.S. intelligence shows that China has conducted human testing on members of the People's Liberation Army in hope of developing soldiers with biologically enhanced capabilities. That's what John Radcliffe, director of national intelligence, says his office and the CIA did not immediately respond to requests to elaborate on the notion that China sought to create super soldiers of the sort depicted in Hollywood films like Captain America, Bloodshot, and Universal Soldier.
Yeah, I was gonna say that this article talks about those movies as examples. I think The Boys on Amazon Prime is probably a better example.
Oh yeah.
You're going to create these terrorist superheroes and then we're going to do the same. And it's going to be like, it's basically going to turn into the same thing as like nuclear warfare, where one person's going to use it. And then after that, it's going to be like a deterrent.
Yeah, it's scary stuff. I mean,
It is.
now in the boys, they're using something called compound V that they injected people.
Yeah.
Now China's what they're doing here is using gene editing technology to enhance human and perhaps soldier performance. They're using this thing called this gene editing tool called CRISPR, which now see, here's the thing. The Chinese apparently, and I don't want to, but the Chinese government, at least let's say that, does not give a shit or a fuck about any of our so-called Western values or morals or anything like that.
No, this it sounds like World War II, like Hitler trying to create like the ultimate like fascist race. That's what it's going to turn into. You're just going to get a bunch of like super perfect human beings that all come out of Beijing.
Yeah. Now, a lot of this does really, 100%. A lot of this feels like speculation. There's nothing really hard in here, but they know they're doing this gene editing stuff. And there's a quote here that says, while the potential leveraging of CRISPR to increase human capabilities on the future battlefield remains only a hypothetical possibility at the present, there are indications that Chinese military researchers are starting to explore this potential. And I would say, I think what they're saying is, yeah, it's happening. They're doing it, and they're willing. All right, Zach. Let me ask you it this way: do you think the United States or China would win a war if they fought? I feel like the Chinese would beat us because they don't give a shit and they're willing to do anything, and we're almost like the Starks of Westeros.
Starks of Westeros.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we are. Dude, I don't know. I'm the furthest person that should be answering this question. I will say, there's this quote from John Ratcliffe, the director of national intelligence, in there where he says, "There's no ethical boundaries to Beijing's pursuit of power." I think, let's be honest, that quote applies to any person in any kind of position of power. Beijing, they're talking about this crazy biologically enhanced soldiers, which is fucking terrifying because we're talking about like genetically made superheroes, basically.
Yeah.
I bet there's like so much shit in like Area 51 or some kind of like crazy weapons that we have. All the money that like is spent on like the defense technology and everything like that. There's got to be some crazy things that we're doing as well. I wouldn't say genetically altering human beings, but
you know what? I agree with you. I'm going to take back my statement. We're no better than anybody else, and we.
I'm not saying we're testing on people in some fucking government bunker, but I think there are some fucking crazy weapons somewhere that you couldn't even imagine. There has to be.
I think you're right. And who knows what our government is doing behind closed doors? And maybe we shouldn't sit on our moral high horse. But I think the danger here is, all right. So we assume, and there's the immediate fear that yes, super soldiers, undefeatable super soldiers, stuff like that. But what if it goes wrong? What if they create like a whole bunch of mutants or something like that?
All right. So this is how the fucking virus in the Resident Evil games got started. They were like, that's how the T virus. It's like biological warfare, basically. What I mean? What if they create like a zombie or something like that? And then they're like, well, hey, people already think that coronavirus was leaked from a China lab.
Yeah.
This is how the zombie virus is going to get leaked from a China lab, right? You worried about COVID. Now we got to worry about COVID zombies. They'll eat your brains, and if you manage to get away, they'll cough on you and give you the virus.
Yeah. I mean they can potentially be creating a new class of humans, but not in a good way. Yeah. And so I think you got to be really, really careful. Maybe they are being careful with this.
Is this what we need for like humans to evolve to the next like stage of evolution?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that classic picture of the monkey or the ape or whatever turning into the human.
Yeah.
Where you see it in stages, like what's going to be the next stage? Yeah. What's going to be the next? Is this what it is? Is this what it takes to make some kind of like all-knowing like being or something like that? So
it could go one way or the other. It could go that way, or this is how humanity dies.
Go backwards.
We go backwards. Yeah. Every time you get to this, every time there's like a cycle where humanity comes up and up to this level, and they get smacked down and go back down. But yeah, I mean, you may be onto something. Maybe this is the next level, the next level up, if you will.
Yeah.
For
which
humanity.
is scary because that's not the type of evolution that like happens like to the entire race. That's just like for specific individuals. So you're just going to get like, you know, what I think, like, I don't think about war. I think about this whole level of like superpower humans that are like above the rest of humanity, right? This group of select few that are all powerful above everyone else.
Yeah. So,
You know what I mean?
so what if they could do this? Maybe not for just for fighting a war. I mean, presumably this could be, I don't know. I don't know how good they could get at this, but this could work for intelligence. This could work for, you know, a variety of human skills.
Yeah.
So what if, using your example, the Chinese perfect this technology, super enhance, say, well, there's like a billion Chinese. Let's say they super enhance like a million and don't share this technology with anyone. And then you have say a million top Chinese government officials say that who are super intelligent, 2 or 3 times smarter than the average person. That's what you just described. I mean, that's what we could see. And you have basically an overclass, and they only share this technology with certain people who, you know, who meet their criteria or something.
They ain't going to share no technology with nobody. They would remember back when like everyone was developing a vaccine and it was like, you know, I think it was like, I don't know if this is 100% true, but there was some article where some country was like refused, like says they found it, but refuses to share it with other countries.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is something that'll like save humanity from this deadly disease. And like countries are like, no, you're not having it. You're not having the science behind it. You know what I mean? So there's no way they're going to share something like this.
No. So this could actually be a way for China to control the entire world without even there being a war.
Yeah.
Just simply the threat. And then since it'd be like, I don't know, I imagine some Star Trek episode where a super intelligent alien comes in and just takes over, you know,
until another country develops something better and more powerful.
Or until Captain Kirk outwits him and we win. And then the episode ends. I want to live in that world.
Yeah.
So this is scary. Now, I think, you know, this might be one of the more intellectual conversations we've had on this show.
Yeah, I know. It's still bullshit, but you know.
Now, so on that, so speaking of that, let's go ahead and give our score. Now, you might be surprised by my score. I'm just going to give it a 6, only because I think the threat is real and the possibilities and everything we talked about is definitely scary, and that would be high level bullshit. Yeah. But there's no
hard evidence.
A lot of innuendo and no direct proof of anything. We just know China's working on this gene editing stuff, and we know that we're afraid of what their ambitions may be. So we're combining the two and we're making a news story. So I think there's a little bit of fear mongering going on here, which is why my score gets knocked down just a bit. What do you got?
I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that. I'm going 8.
8. Okay.
Yeah, I almost wonder if this was leaked, if like, you know, because it was like, we're doing so much fucked up stuff. They were like, we need to put some heat on someone else so we don't seem as bad.
When in doubt, blame China for something.
When in doubt.
Excellent. All right, let's hit our final story of the day, Zach. Can we save the stupidest for last? I think. Well, they might have some competition with Sword Guy, but
yeah.
This comes out of the Dallas Observer. There's a Tickle Bar opening in Dallas. Yeah, you heard us. Remember the back tickles that you loved as a kid? The black magic your mom used to pull you straight to sleep. How about the times you almost dozed off while someone played with your hair? Are you relaxed just thinking about it?
No.
No, what the hell kind of a start to an
article? I hate being tickled. That's the fucking worst. I hate it. I would rather go to like one of the dry like mocktail bars that have been popping up. You know what I mean? Like the sober bars. I'd rather go to one of those than go to a tickle bar. Like that doesn't make like.
Hold on, what's this now?
You never heard about the sober bars popping up?
No, not in my area.
No, yeah, I mean, I think it's more in like hipster neighborhoods and like, you know, sections of cities, but like, yeah, no, there's like a big movement for like mocktail and sober bars where it's like a bar, like any bar you can think of, but they don't serve alcohol. They serve they serve like non-alcoholic beer and like mocktails and stuff like that.
Who wants that?
I don't know. I guess someone. I feel like it probably started one day because there was a bar that couldn't get a liquor license. And they were like, "Well, let's just serve mocktails instead," and it's like, you know, became this big thing. I guess it's because it's you know, there was a movement for the sober community to have like a bar going experience. But I'm like, you can still go to a bar and just not drink. You know what I mean?
Who's the sober community? Who's sober?
Oh, I don't know.
This world. Goodness. Oh, you said you didn't drink beer for like 2 weeks.
I haven't drunk in like 3 or 4 weeks, man.
Still.
That damn COVID, yeah. I'm making homemade eggnog this coming weekend though, so that I'll be drinking this.
Wow. Well, have you gone to one of these mocktail establishments?
No, I have not.
All right. I don't want.
I'm pretty sure there's a couple of them in Baltimore. I've never been, but
sounds like high level bullshit to me.
Yeah. All right, let's get back to the Tickle Bar.
Back to the Tickle. Kimberly Haley Coleman wants to sell you that experience with the launch of her new business, the Tickle Bar. And she doesn't know if her idea is crazy, brilliant, or maybe a little bit of both. It feels like a high schooler is writing this article. Okay, sorry.
It does. It feels like something you'd see in like the journalism group or what is it? Yeah, the journalism like class would like write for the yearbook.
This is like the Jefferson High School newspaper.
Jefferson High School morning news.
When I tell people, I get a really polarized reaction, Haley Coleman says. It's either, oh my God, that's genius. Why has anyone done that? Or it's, no one's going to do that. That's the craziest thing I ever heard. And that's what I knew I needed to try it. So that was my impersonation of Miss Haley Coleman. So she doesn't, no, she used to run a nonprofit, which dried up because due to COVID and lockdowns and all that. So she had to come up, what can I do to save my livelihood? And she decided the Tickle Bar is the answer.
Yeah. There was a quote in here that said talking about the Tickle Bar, and it said they'll be given the option, customers will be given the option to take their shirts off as well as to close the tent flap for privacy. This is a fucking brothel. This is, you know what I mean? This is like this is a place where prostitutes and strippers are going to be able to go to get work, because it's just a spa. And I'm like, well, I'm sure they're qualified enough to give people tickles and probably more.
Now, the list of shiver-inducing services is short and sweet. Hair play, back tickles, or both for 25 or 50 minutes. But you think that there may be something more, something a little more risque going on under there?
Oh yeah, I think this is going to turn into a tickle brothel.
Now, if anyone's in the Texas area, you can check the Dallas area. Now, they had an event called a Tickled Pink. Now, you could have dropped by for a free T-shirt and a pink feather boa with some Insta-worthy pictures of some shirtless guys in feather wings, Zach.
It's in Texas?
Yeah. Dallas.
Okay, maybe we'll send the editor of Informed American, Ronnie Johnson, there to do an expose on the place, and he can give us a inside scoop on what this place is like.
Now, addressing your concerns, Zach, Ms. Haley Coleman admits that she's leaning a bit on the prurient interest of people when they hear about tickles. Even though if it gives you a double take, I'm going to take that, she says, because when people look twice, they're going to see that it's people like me, an over 50 woman who is the client, not the 20-year-old fraternity guy looking for a happy ending, Zach. So get your mind out of the gutter. It's weird there, right? I mean, why did she go there?
Okay, you know what? Maybe her intentions are 100% pure, but I can guarantee that not all the clientele are going to go there with pure intentions. $100 on the first day they open. There's a guy in there that says, "Can you tickle my pecker?" I guarantee it. I guarantee it. It's going to happen.
Oh, you go straight to it.
And I mean, we did a story last week about a stewardess that is selling sex for cash during this time. Maybe there'll be a tickle masseuse in there that's like, I could use the money. You know what I mean? I don't know. Like, you know what? So it's really slope how these things get started.
We discussed that story last week. I mean, we'll see. She was a stewardess. I mean, a lot of airlines have had to cancel flights due to COVID, and she's just trying to make an extra buck to pay her bills, Zach.
Yeah.
Now, who in God's name wants to be tickled?
I hate it. My wife is like, she doesn't like being tickled, but she always tries to like tickle me.
Oh, that's not fair.
Get off of me. Stop doing it. She's like, you used to think it was funny when we first started dating. I'm like, that's because we just started dating and I was trying to be nice and like, not
was trying to get laid.
Fight. Yeah. Now don't fucking try to tickle me.
It's like, I was just trying to hook up. I would have let you done anything.
Yeah, exactly.
My wife, no, that's not fair for a tickler to not want to be tickled, and that actually describes me. because I go after my wife, and I hate being tickled. It's not fair. It's bad. Now she's declared through willpower that she's no longer ticklish. So
Yeah. Well,
when I try, I think you can do it if you.
I can't.
I always can break through.
I
Try
can't.
so hard. She's declared multiple times that she's not ticklish anymore, and I know the secret spot. So.
No. When someone tries to tickle me, it's like if you keep doing it when I tell you to stop, someone's going to get dangerously hurt. Not on purpose, but I don't know if you remember Sarah Marshall, where the woman was trying to suck on Jason Segel's toes, and he like accidentally kicked her in the nose and like broke her nose, and there was blood. Like that's what'll happen. Like I cannot stand it. I like flail. Like my limbs just flail. You're going to get socked in the mouth.
Virgin.
Yes, it was 40-year-old virgin. You're right.
Our 2000s era.
You know what? It is 40-year-old virgin, but the actress that's sucking on her toes is the same one she was also in Sarah Marshall.
Okay.
That's why I'm getting confused.
Well, we've got that cleared up. So I hope this business fails. I hope.
I mean, I'm not going to wish harm on the girl, but
I think this is a very stupid idea, and I think it's absolute bullshit. So I am ready, unless you have anything you want to hit on here, Zach, to give my rating.
No, I'm good.
It's high level bullshit. The stupid idea for a business. The article is stupidly written, and this woman seems very strange. So I'm going to give this thing an 8. What do you got?
I got a 6.
Okay. Oh, by the way, here's a picture of her. This looks like what you would imagine she would look like. Or she looks like what you would imagine. A little, just, maybe a little batshit. So you got a 6?
I got a 6.
Wait a minute. Okay, so the last 3, so we normally count down our, we rank these. I'm sorry, we give our ratings and then we rank them. Number 5 is the Elf reunion, father and son. Number 4 is the Santa Dick cookie. But we have a 3-way tie. No,
we don't.
We have a 3-way tie. And not only do we have a 3-way tie for the grape slicer, the China Super Soldier, and the stupid Tickle Bar thing, but we, in all 4, they're all tied at 14, and both of our ratings were 8 and 6, respectively, down the line. So we've never had a 3-way tie before, Zach. Do you have the bottle cap?
I don't even know how we're going to flip for that. I think we just need to just do a 3-way tie, the 3 most bullshit.
Okay. I'm good with that. We don't have to break. We don't have to do tie break. So yeah, and then those were our 5. So that is our show for this week.
That is one big pile of shit.
Zach, great to hear that you are, you're only 90% recovered, but you're almost there. And good to get some of those tickle stories out of the way. Also good to get some of your childhood stories presented here as well. And I want to thank everybody for watching here. If you're watching on our YouTube channel, please hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to this channel. If you're watching on Facebook, we'd love if you'd also hit the like button and share this video with your friends. And then Zach, we'd love for them to head on over to our 2 websites so they can get real smart news on one hand and maybe some other stuff, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You can sign up for one of our free newsletters. It's completely free. Sign up to get information in your inbox every day. Free information. We got informedamerican.com, which is everything political, breaking news, current events. And then you can go on to wallstreetwirenews.com for everything finance, economy, and business.
Excellent. For Zach, I am Dave, and I've had enough of this BS.
You've been listening to the BS Podcast with Dave and Zach, part of the Informed American Radio Network. Please like and subscribe today in order to get fresh new weekly episodes. Please send us your BS stories to info@informedamerican.com. The world is hard enough, and now we gotta deal with this bullshit.